topic for today. Like, talk about AI, we're going to talk about what it's going to do to the economy and how there's a massive opportunity. If you're someone that works with their hands, you're someone that likes to build things, likes to repair things, is interested in making stuff. There's going to be a massive divide in the haves and the have-nots, right? And it's only accelerating, right? The haves are going to continue to grow, especially as these AI technologies come online. These people are going to continue to get richer and richer and richer and richer. And the people that are investing, like the financiers and just the normies that are investing in these companies, they're going to continue to get wealthier and wealthier and wealthier and wealthier. And as this happens, there's going to be more customers for your products, right? So if you want to operate in more of a luxury type space, a higher end type space, there's going to be more customers than ever to buy your products. And the truth is that wealthy people love to buy nice stuff. And they love to buy things that are unique. They love to buy things that are made by hand. They like to buy things that have a story, right? So as this thing with AI moves along, it's going to create a lot of opportunity for people. So that's what we're talking about today. I hope it's a good conversation for people. I really enjoy talking about the future and how working with your hands is a great way to make money, and how the opportunity to make a really comfortable living is going to be greater for everyone, provided that you know how to do so. That's the most important thing. I think a lot of people think that they can just jump into furniture making or cabinet making or welding, and they can just watch a couple of YouTube videos and then they're going to have it down. And I'm here to tell you that's not how it works. Like, it takes literally 10 years to get good at anything. They say the rule of 10,000 hours, which is 5 years. I think you got to work a lot more than that in order to really develop the skills and the know-how to get really talented at something. It takes a long time. So anyway, my name is Eric Wilken. I own the Resplendent Crow here in St. Louis, Missouri. And we have a small furniture company. We do about 500 pieces a year. It's a great middle-class living. We have about 9 or 10 employees. And we build custom furniture, and we also paint furniture. We're known for our high-gloss lacquer coating. We paint a ton of vintage furniture, especially stuff like the faux bamboo period, a lot of HEPA white furniture. We're known for kind of our Asian chinoiserie aesthetic, and we build our furniture and design our furniture in the same way. So if you guys go to resplendentcrow.com, you'll see all of our furniture, and it's pretty pricey, but it's a cool business. It's a good business. It's a great business if you got family, if you got kids. A lot of cool things you can teach people in this business, and it's been good to me. It's been good to my wife. It's been good to everyone that works for this company, and you can do the same thing. So anyway, our talk for today is about AI, right? So AI is basically gonna crush jobs, right? Like, we all kind of know this. Everyone hears it. It's super scary. But the truth is that as AI comes online, right, the people that don't have skills, right, the people that are accountants, the people that sit in an office, that send a lot of emails, do HR, these kind of jobs, which have value, they're all replaceable by AI, right? AI is going to take all these jobs, and it's going to flush them down the toilet, and these people are going to have to retrain. They're going to have to do something. Now, if you work with your hands, right, you're a repairman, whatever, you're a firefighter, you're a police officer, you're a nurse, these kind of things, very difficult for AI to take your job away, because the amount of dexterity that it takes to do things is going to be very difficult to replace, right? The empathy that a nurse gives a patient, who's sick, people aren't going to want a robot for that thing. So it's going to take a long time, I think, for AI to develop robots and systems that can replace all that kind of stuff. So, talk for today. We're going to go through all these line items. I got a ton of stuff for people. And guys, if you're in the chat, hit the like button, add the discussion. Let me know what you guys think. What jobs are safe? Like, what jobs are going to get wiped out right away? AI is a scary thing. I don't claim to know all there is to know about it. I actually talked to my stepdad, who is a big investor in this kind of technology, and he gave me a lot of things to think about, so we're going to talk about some of the things that he talked to me about, and I'll give you guys kind of my thoughts on this, and we'll just kind of bat it back and forth, so I hope everyone is having a good day, and let's get after it, so the first thing I want to talk about is there's a statement we all kind of know, right? And I think that AI is coming around because basically this saying, there's a guy called Klaus Schwab, right? And this guy, he said, you're going to own nothing and be happy. And while that sounds great, truth is that the only way that this can come to fruition is if we live in a digital world. And so, because people have sentimental attachments to things, right? Like, we all love physical stuff. I mean, when you smell a certain perfume, it evokes memories, right? When you touch something, it evokes memories. If everything is digital, like, I don't know, that seems like a crappy existence to me, So what's going to happen is this AI thing, I think, is going to come in, and it's going to try to replace a lot of physical stuff, right? And that is the physical things that we buy, the stuff we get, off Amazon, the stuff we get off, Temu, all these freaking websites, stuff we get at Williams Sonoma. It's going to try and replace a lot of this stuff with digital things. And as AI becomes more of a thing, I think that it's going to do that, right? And the more time we spend on our screens, the more difficult it's going to be to get people out of this digital world, right? Which is why if you make a physical product, if you fix a physical thing, you're gonna have a job forever. So I think that the AI thing is coming around because of what that guy said in part. Like that's part of the master plan, is to get humans away from physical things, away from consumerism, away from the desire to have physical stuff. They want to get you out of this thing because humans are a lot easier to control, I guess, if you basically just live in the pod and eat the bugs, as they say, So I wrote down some things. I'm gonna go over what I wrote down real quick. We got people coming in the chat. Say hi, my brother. Hope you have a good day. Kenneth, thank you, man. Yeah, I'm having a good day. I hope you are as well. Josh is in your drywall. We're finishing. Yeah. So that's what I'm talking about, guys. Like, if you're someone who does drywall, like, are you freaking kidding me? You think a robot's gonna come in there anytime soon? Though a robot would be great if they could do it, But Jesus Christ, like a robot doesn't understand that there's no such thing as a straight wall. Like, there's no such thing as a square corner. So yeah, I think that that's something that a robot could do at some point to a certain degree, but like the finishing work, no way. Like no way. Like to float drywall mud is like an art, Like I don't think you can put that into ones and zeros and be like, well, this is all you gotta do, guys. You just put a little water on your trowel that stuff down, and slowly turn it down as you ease off the pressure. It's like, I don't think they can do that. It's such a finesse type job. So Josh, man, I 100% agree. I don't think drywall refinishing is ever going away. It's like, that's such a hard job. And yeah, and things like finish carpentry, same thing. Like, again, there's no material that's perfect. That's one of the things. That's why you pay finish carpenters big bucks, because they have to deal with all the screwed up material, the walls, the bowed walls. Like, how many guys have seen that kind of stuff, or the cupped ones? I mean, that's even worse. It's amazing what a finish carpenter, up on the ladder doing crown molding and all this kind of stuff. I don't know that a machine's gonna be able to do that anytime soon. So yeah, Josh, those are great ones. See, we got hi, I'm Bob. What's your name? Hi, Bob. Good to see you, dude. See, Humus is in here. I will just assist an actual person. Yeah. And there you go. I think that's probably a good thing too as well. So anyway, I'm going to go through what I read here. We'll keep going through the comments. Like I said, if you're in the discussion, guys, hit the like button, add the discussion. Let me know what jobs are safe. What is AI not going to take away? Is AI a good thing? Is AI going to help people? Is it going to make life better? So I've got some thoughts on where the end game is for AI, like where this is all going. And I think you guys kind of like that. So anyway, here's what I wrote down. I said, you owe nothing to be happy, right? Which is that famous Klaus Schwab saying. So big business wants to make everything digital because no one will know how to make stuff, okay? This is one of those things. If AI takes away all the jobs, they got to figure out what the hell to do with everyone, right? Like, they don't know what to do with all these people once the jobs are gone, right? So if nobody knows how to make anything, it's going to be a lot easier for them to just say, well, I guess you're all just going to end up on UBI. We're all just going to give you a cost of living thing, and that's what you're going to do, And I think it's going to be a lot easier. Whereas if you have a lot of people that know how to make things, you have a lot of people that are into fixing things, repairing things, working on cars, fixing houses, finish carpenters, trim carpenters. It's a lot harder to get those people's jobs replaced and get everybody on UBI, which is kind of where I think this thing's going. I think that's what they're trying to do, is get everybody away from physically working to where you're basically just, I don't know what the hell you're doing, but you're not working, right? You're just hanging out. Maybe you're learning, maybe you're doing a lot more art. Maybe you're just going to school all the time. Like, that's kind of where it's going. It's not the end game, but that's kind of where a lot of people are going to end up. They're going to end up in this kind of purgatory of trying to figure out what the hell to do with their time when AI takes their job, right? Because it's not like they're going to go find another job in the same field. AI is going to take that job too, So this idea that, well, then I'm going to go retrain. Well, what are you going to retrain that AI isn't going to take? And that's why I'm here talking about this. You're going to retrain to use these. And, gender studies degrees and, cultural appropriation training, like none of that stuff's really going to matter anymore. So that's the road down. Okay. So most people will have no money, right? So the other thing about digital stuff is like big business is going to own everything, right? So if there's whatever, say there's a dozen AI companies that kind of run everything. Okay, these are going to be the main companies that are going to have all the business, right? They're going to have all the money. They're going to, and hardly any employees, right? And if they do hire any employees, those employees are probably going to be robots. They're going to be other AI assistants, things like that. And it's very scary, guys. So if they can sell you digital products, if they can provide you with digital products are the easiest thing in the world to make, because you make it one time and it's done, right? You have to update it. You got to fix some bugs. Like, you just go in and you code it, you fix it, and you're done. And there's there's nothing wrong with that. But at the end of the day, that's what they want everyone to have. They want everyone to see digital. They want everyone to consume digital. They want everyone to want digital. And the digital life and the digital environment is going to be kind of scary to me. It's like dystopian, which is kind of spooky. So I think that's what they're trying to do. The other thing is that digital products don't cost anything to make. You have the R&D to make it one time. Once it's made, again, then you're just doing support for it. You don't have to make it every time, right? And this idea of making something every single time is one of the things that's gotten us in trouble as a society today. I often talk about like YouTube woodworkers being hacks, and I talk about YouTube woodworkers making bullshit furniture and making stuff that doesn't really sell in the real world because they're not really making furniture, right? They're making a digital product, right? They're making a video that someone will watch who's sitting at home and go, oh, yeah, that's pretty cool. I wouldn't mind making that. That's kind of neat, And the truth is that nobody wants that stuff. If people wanted that stuff, these guys would sell it. But they're not trying to sell you a physical product. They're trying to sell you a digital product, right? They want you to watch that video of them making that piece of ugly furniture. They want you to watch that many times because those clicks are worth money to them, right? Every time people watch this stuff and watch an ad, this is a digital revenue stream. It creates money, right? And then they'll have a website, which is a digital thing. That digital website will have drawings on it, right? This is the drawing that how I made my piece of crappy furniture. Then you can buy that, right? Every time you buy that drawing, it's not like they got to make that drawing every time. They make it one time, and then you download it as a PDF or whatever kind of file they have it uploaded as, right? You download it, and again, this is the digital thing that people are doing. When these content creators on YouTube create videos of how they make their furniture, what they're doing is they're then creating marketing campaigns, and they're creating marketing material for sponsors, right? So they're going to a company like DeWalt, right? They'll go to DeWalt and say, DeWalt, here, I've got a million views a month on my YouTube channel. Would you sponsor this next video? I'll use your tools, right? DeWalt says, great. Well, then those tools become part of that digital content package. And then again, everything is digital, right? The YouTube woodworker is not selling you furniture. They're selling you content. They're selling you a digital stream, digital drawings, right? Digital coupons, digital codes. Everything is digital because making things is really fucking hard. And this is the thing that will keep you employed forever. As the people that create digital products, and I'm talking about the YouTube woodworkers as well, as AI comes on board, like AI can make all this digital woodworking in AI. You have to physically be in a shop to make it, right? But as AI starts to do this kind of stuff, all these people are going to be out of jobs, right? So if you physically make a piece of furniture every time someone orders it, you're going to have a job forever because it's just that hard, So I hope this kind of makes sense to people. The importance of physically making something is going to become more valuable tomorrow than it even is today. Okay, if you know how to repair automobiles, same thing. The electric and EV companies are literally making cars that can be repaired by robots, right? Tesla is very well known for making robots that make cars, right? So they're working on this machines that make machines, that fix machines, to where humans don't have to do anything. The machines do it all. So they're slowly getting there. But again, if you want to start a business, it's very important that business create a physical good. It used to be everybody wanted to create a digital product, right? Create that digital product and scale it, right? Scale it as fast as you can, because when you make one thing one time, if one person buys it, you only had to make it one time. If 1 million people buy it, you still only had to make it one time. And this has been the way it's been for at least the last 10 years, right? So all these, I shouldn't say all, but a lot of these woodworkers and painters and stuff on YouTube, they're not really that good at their craft, right? They're not so in demand that people are wanting their time and buying their stuff constantly. It's advertisers that want their time, right? It's the people on the internet that want to watch their content, want to watch the content. They don't actually want to buy their stuff. They just want to watch the content. And this is good for the content creator. Again, all digital things. So I hope this kind of makes sense. Like this is literally where it's at today. Everybody is creating everything digital, and AI is going to come through and wash all those people out. You know, why would you watch whatever that Bourbon Moth guy on YouTube, you know, prance around like a goofball? Like how long do you think it's going to be till an AI Bourbon Moth comes on, you know, who's more entertaining, you know, who doesn't need Ford sponsorships or doesn't need DeWalt sponsorships, isn't trying to sell you something at every, you know, 30 seconds in a video, right? They won't need those things. So it's important that people understand that as AI comes through, these guys are gone, right? Because they don't make a physical product. They don't actually have a customer base that wants the things that they make, right? They have a customer base that wants to be entertained. And that's important. Being entertained is a way to make money, and there's nothing wrong with that. But again, as AI comes through, AI is going to be way more entertaining, you know? So it's very scary for a lot of these digital businesses, these people that work in the digital spaces, these digital content creators. I think they're all going to get washed out, guys. Every one of them. And again, I like most of these people. I like most of these content creators on YouTube. But as AI comes through, AI is going to figure out a much more efficient and better way to entertain you. And the content that these AI models will be able to put up they'll be able to put up multiple things a day, right, that are brand new and interesting. Whereas a physical content creator today, it's very difficult to video yourself doing something, put it on your computer, do all the editing, you know, do all the descriptions, put in all the right pieces as you're editing that video, and then upload it into YouTube, right? It's very difficult to do all that kind of stuff every single day. You need a team of video editors. You need a team of VA assistants, right? These are people that are chopping up video, that are helping your video editors find content. It takes a small team to make this happen fairly regularly. AI is going to do it instantly, you know? So that's something that's very scary, and it is going to happen, you know? So again, if you physically make something, if you have a customer base that likes your products, that is part of that affluent group of people that are continue to get wealthier as AI comes through, you're going to be doing great. And you're going to have a great opportunity to make even more money, provided you make a physical product that is interesting. Like, you can't just make anything, and you have to be actually good at it, right? You got to have a story. You got to be someone who's willing to talk about their product and push their product as though it's the greatest thing on earth. You know, I say that all the time. Everyone kind of knows it. So anyway, so that was topic number one. Topic number two is talk about why YouTube woodworkers content isn't about furniture. And I already just kind of talked about that. The YouTube woodworker is done in 5 years. Like, no one's going to want to watch their content anymore. Businesses aren't going to want to pay them, right, when they can just pay an AI woodworker to do all this stuff, right? So that's kind of what's coming down the pipeline, guys. Why would Ford pay Bourbon Moth to drive their truck around when they can just have it digitally edited into a video of an AI woodworker who probably doesn't need any money at all? So it's very scary, guys, what's coming. And you guys are seeing the videos, right? You're seeing they're making video games now, you know, very quickly. They're making AI movies now very quickly. Like, this digital editing and this digital creation of complex movies, videos, music, all this kind of things is happening so fast. Very scary, you know? So anyway, let me go through my notes here real quick. Let's see here. I wrote that the skill of making content will be less valuable as AI comes online, right? And that's the other thing. Like, a lot of these YouTube content creators, they're entertaining, you know, which is why they have an audience, right? That's why we all like, who's the Blacktail Studio guy, you know, super interesting. The Bourbon Moth guy, they're hilarious, right? They're funny guys. But again, it's gonna be very difficult for these guys to stay relevant when you have all these AI things. And right now there's even an AI actress that's being put in movies. Like, how wild is that? Like, that's how quickly this AI thing is coming online, right? How long do you think it's going to be till YouTube has AI woodworkers, right? You know, instead of the Bourbon Moth, and you're going to have another guy who's called, you know, whatever, Zippity Doodah, and he's going to make all kinds of interesting shit, except that he doesn't really make it. It's just videos of him making stuff that isn't really there. I mean, super crazy, but that's where it's going to go, guys. And unless you physically make something all the time and you have knowledge about how to make things you can pass on to other people, AI is just going to wash it all out, you know? So anyway, okay, other things I wrote down. Let's see here. So I wrote that YouTube woodworkers will be on the unemployment line because they suck at making furniture in the real world, right? And that's kind of harsh. And I wrote that YouTube furniture looks like shit, right? So the people that are making furniture now on YouTube, and I'm using YouTube because this is the platform that we're on, but the people that are popular making making content on YouTube, their furniture's ugly. Like, it's not. Most people wouldn't buy it. It's made for men for the most part, when women actually make most of the decisions in the home. So these people, when AI comes through and crushes their business model, they may have to go back to making furniture or making cabinets, but what they're gonna find out is that they don't have the real skills to make that shit day in and day out. Their skills have atrophied, their skills have left them behind, and they're gonna have to go back to swinging a hammer or pushing stock through a table saw, and it's gonna be tough for them. But if they can get back to making stuff, build up a client list of people that really want to buy their furniture, they'll do okay. But they're going to have to start at zero because they have no clients, right? Their clients aren't people that want to buy furniture. Their clients are people that want to buy sponsorships, right? Their clients are people that want to get them to hawk their shit, like their BetterHelp and their VPNs and all these stuff that is not even woodworking related. That's what these people are pushing, you know? But if you know how to make something, you have a real client list of people that actually want to buy your product, you'll have it forever. And again, as AI comes through and the haves and the have-nots, this gap continues to grow, you're gonna have clients forever. You're gonna have business forever, and your business will grow. Your opportunities will be infinite as AI comes through and washes all these people out. You know, so that's kind of how I see it. I don't know that everybody's gonna agree with me on this one, but I've thought about this quite a bit. I've done a lot of talking with people that know more about this industry than I do, and they kind of agree, right? They agree that people that physically make things, artisans and craftspeople, are gonna basically have the what's the word I'm looking for? They're basically gonna be able to pick and choose their clients. They're gonna have as much work as they want or as less work as they want. It just kind of depends on what they want. But AI will catch up, right? And when I say AI, what I'm actually referring to, the robots, right? The autonomous robots that Tesla's going to build, right? As these robots come online and they learn to do more things and they become better at moving and building things and fixing things, eventually everyone's job will get washed out, right? So, and that's, where does this thing go, right? So that's the last part of this conversation that we'll talk about, but that's what's going to happen once AI takes over everything, which it will happen, okay? We'll get into that in a second. Okay, I got to go through my numbers here. So, AI will create massive demand for physical goods and services. That's the name of our talk for the day. And so learning to make goods means you don't need to buy pre-made stuff. Okay, so if you're one of these people, like, what if you're one of these people that gets washed out in AI, right? Say you're an accountant, and suddenly your boss comes through and says, you know what, Bill, we don't need you anymore. We got a program that's going to do all this kind of stuff, and it talks to customers, and it's going to do a great job. We can't afford your $80,000 a year. You're going to have to go do something else, okay? What happens then is that Bill has to make a decision. Like, what's he going to do? Is he going to go retrain, become a CPA? Is he going to try and level up his education to go from, being just a regular accountant to being a CPA, or maybe he's going to get into wealth management, these kind of things? Or is he going to look at a completely different industry? Now, if he makes the decision to go look at a completely different industry, he's going to make a crap ton less money. Like, there's no doubt about it, because he knows nothing, right? Just because he was making 80 grand as an accountant, he comes to work for someone like me, he's probably going to make $32,000 a year to start. But just like when he was younger and he went to college, probably didn't make jack shit in college. That's going to happen to a lot of these people, and it's going to suck for them, and it's going to be a huge blow to their ego. But they're going to learn skills that will allow them to have a job much longer than had they stayed in that accounting trade, right? And the thing that is very important, and you guys take nothing away from this, take this away, okay? The thing that's really important about learning a new thing is that once you learn that thing, it can add a significant amount of value to your life, especially when you make stuff or when you fix things, right? Because you suddenly learn how, okay, well, I'm learning how to make furniture, right? So, well, now I can fix cabinets, right? I can fix vanities, or maybe my wife wants me to put new doors on this vanity, or maybe my wife wants to reskin the kitchen, and we're gonna put, whatever new laminate on our cabinets, right? Or maybe we're just gonna make new cabinets. You learn the skill. That skill provides a lot of value in your life, because what would it cost you to do that work yourself, or excuse me, what would it cost you to pay somebody to do that work, which you would have done before, versus learning to do it now your own, right? It's a really it's a really good way to not have to spend a ton of money on life, right? So you need $80,000 in an accountant because truth is you don't know how to do anything. As a woodworker and a furniture maker, you can do so many things. Like if I only make 50 grand a year, that's fine. I don't have to pay someone to work on my car. I don't have to pay someone to work on my house. I don't have to pay someone to make stuff when my wife needs something, or the kids need bunk beds. Like I made my son's bed, right? Like you don't have to pay for that stuff. So these skills that you learn, they help you in all facets of your life. Whereas the guy who was an accountant, like all he knows how to do is make money and help people avoid taxes, right? It doesn't really help him at home to be an accountant. It helps him, once a year on April 15 when he has to do his own taxes. But that's it. When you're a woodworker and you're someone that works with your hands, you are unencumbered by anything in your life, right? The driveway concrete's cracked. Well, you're not afraid to get in there and grind out that bad concrete and pour some new concrete in there, right? You're not afraid to use rebar grinders. You're not afraid to fix the kitchen, right? You know how to work on doors. The carpet's bad in your home, you can fix the carpet. You learn to be unafraid of doing so many things in your life that normally you would pay somebody to do, right? So that's one of the great things. If AI does come in and wash out jobs, you're going to be forced to go learn something else. And if you're smart, you're going to learn something that causes you to work with your hands. And that skill, which will not pay as much money, will save you enough money that in the end, it's going to end up being a wash, right? Yeah, you're not making $80,000 as a cabinet maker that you were making as an accountant, but as a cabinet maker, you can do 100 things. An accountant can't do very much, So that's kind of how I see it. Again, people may or may not disagree with me, or may or may not agree with me on that one, but I think that's something that's getting ready to happen, which is going to be great. Like, we all kind of know that for the last 15 years, we sent everybody to school, and most of these people, when they went to college, they learned bullshit, and we all paid for it. They're paying for it now, but they learned a bunch of garbage. I think the greatest thing about AI is that it's going to force everyone to go relearn how to be useful, right? Instead of when you're 17 years old, mom and dad saying, well, you know what, Billy, you want to go live your dreams, go do whatever you want to go do, go be whoever you want to go be. And then they're like, well, I want to go be a historian who studies the medieval period from 1410 to 1450 and then get a master's degree in that, right? When you get out of the real world, nobody wants that shit. Impossible to use that degree, right? But you chased your dream, and your dream ended up in debt, massive amounts of debt, and your ego's destroyed, your hopes of a job are destroyed, and you become nihilistic, and it's no good. So that person is going to be forced to go, well, what do people need? How can I make money? Instead of just thinking, I'm going to go chase my dreams. Like, no, you're going to go learn to use a table saw. You're going to go learn to use a MIG welder. You're going to learn, how to tamp sand and gravel as you make freaking walkways. Like, you're going to learn skills that are really useful. And I think that's going to be one of the great things about AI. And again, the customer base is going to be infinite, guys. Like, if you know how to lay walkways, you know how to do concrete work, man, you're going to have work forever, because AI is going to make more rich people. And again, infinite amount of people to do the service. And again, most people don't want to do this shit, right? So if you get in early and you learn how to do this kind of stuff, you're going to be able to start a business or get your name out there, develop a name for yourself, get a customer base that will keep you a business forever. They'll keep money in your pocket forever, and that's what I did. That's how I made this thing work, and a lot of help from my wife on the marketing side and the sales side. But that's all I did. You have to learn to work with your hands. It's very important. So anyway, more comments coming in, and we'll continue our discussion here. So let's see. So this is John Allen. Okay, IKEA particle board. Yeah, IKEA particle board is pretty rough, but that's what people wanted, especially when you send everyone to college. Like, all those college kids, what do you think they have in their dorm rooms? It's all that IKEA shit, like, unless you're our daughter, then you got a nice, vintage, amazing desk, but it's IKEA's. The product was really important when it was needed, and a lot of college kids bought that shit. A lot of new homeowners bought that shit, and now they're replacing it all, 2 or 3 years after they bought it. So it is what it is. Okay, so who else we got in here? This is Dan Duna. I'm not quite sure if I'm pronouncing it right. So hey, I just saw your work. That's amazing. Keep up. Who's this? Dan Donowa. Yeah, our work's cool. We we do a lot of high gloss lacquered furniture. We make a ton of furniture. I make some of the nicest furniture you can buy today. I make a beautiful high gloss lacquered brass desk, jet black like a Steinway piano. You can see your reflection in it, and it's just wrapped in solid brass. It's beautiful. I've got celebrities that have it, Congress people that have that desk. We make beautiful 10-foot credenzas specifically designed to go into New York high-rise apartments. We build them in basically 4 sections, and they're delivered in 4 sections, and then it's assembled together. And we do that in the way of companies like American Martinsville used to make a lot of those. Mastercraft, amazing furniture company, no longer in business. But they used to make furniture like that. We make a lot of the same type of furniture now. And of course, we high gloss lacquer it, and it's amazing. It's a fantastic way to make a living. And I got no complaints. It's not easy, but that's why we're having this conversation. AI will not take my job because it's too damn hard. It's too damn hard for most people, and it sure as shit's too damn hard for AI. Like AI can't do what we do here at the Resplendent Crow. So, okay, we got Lacquer, Baton Rouge Lacquer Studio here. Good, man, good to see you. Glad you're here. And again, we're talking about AI. And again, Adam, this goes for you, man. If AI comes through and washes out a lot of the jobs like they say it's going to, a lot of these jobs are going to get washed out. Are going to be people that sit at a desk that crunch numbers, that use a lot of computers and a lot of technology, and that's great for them. But if you work with these, right, if you repair engines, you do brake jobs, you build furniture, in your case, you paint furniture, very difficult for AI to take that job, especially if you're doing like vintage furniture, right? AI would be really good at painting furniture that was coming out from production line. It's the exact same furniture, right? They have the schematics in the system. Everything's perfectly square. There's no chipped anything. It's all perfect. AI would be fantastic at that, But unfortunately, that's not how most furniture is unless it's over in Vietnam or China. A lot of your furniture in America is custom made. It's done in kind of the old school style of just slapping it together one stick at a time. And I think AI is just really going to struggle with that because of the inconsistency that it has, So, okay, continue on with the conversation. Let me get a quick drink of my whatever vitamin water stuff. Okay, so I wrote down here, as industries consolidate, you can take advantage of being one of the people left who's making stuff, right? So what's going to happen with this whole AI thing, and again, I've talked to people about this, what's happening is you're going to be left with like 12 companies. And these 12 companies are essentially going to own all the best of the best when it comes to AI systems, right? You'll have hundreds of them in the beginning, but just like the car market, it will consolidate into like, whatever, 8, 10, 12 companies. And these companies are just going to start washing out jobs, right? They're going to start licensing their AI to different companies. Companies are just going to get rid of people left and right, and they're just going to keep the money. And so what happens when there's no money left, right? We're already seeing it today where wealthy people as a group are so wealthy, they're buying everything. Like we almost can't produce enough stuff that wealthy people want for them to consume, right? Which creates artificial scarcity, which is great if you're a maker, right? You get to charge more for your stuff, but they're buying everything. And again, as AI comes through, and the people that have these companies and have invested in these companies are going to own all the technology. They're going to own all the businesses. And the people that didn't make it are going to end up on the welfare line. They're going to end up with very little unless they retrain and learn to work with their hands, right? So if you're one of these people that gets in early before all this happens, you're going to be one of the companies that's left that makes stuff, right? I talk about this thing called the Lindy effect, right? And the Lindy effect is basically is when you've been in business for 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years, more people start to become your name starts to become synonymous with the product or industry that you're in, right? Like we're the Resplendent Crow, we do lacquered furniture. More and more people know about the Resplendent Crow as a lacquer and furniture company, and it wasn't that way in the beginning because the truth is that as those years pass on, right? What happens is that everyone in your industry, not everyone, but as your industry moves on year after year after year after year, companies fall off, right? Maybe they took out loans, right? Revenue declined, they lost employees, their product became irrelevant, whatever. You're still climbing, right? You're still figuring out how to make it work. You end up becoming kind of the top dog, right? And you become synonymous with your product or your industry. This is called the Lindy effect, right? And once that happens, you don't have to spend as much on advertising, right? You don't have to work as hard to find good employees. People just know who you are. They want to work at your company. They like your product. When they do a Google search for things, it's not like we're not just looking for lacquered furniture. They're going to look for Resplendent Crow lacquered furniture, or they're going to see videos and things we've done over the years about hot pink dressers. So they're going to be looking for Resplendent Crow hot pink dressers. And it becomes easier as the years go on, and this Lindy effect takes hold. But it takes, like I said, it takes years, and depending on what your industry is, if you're a super young industry, it might not take as long. But if you're an old industry like furniture, shit, how many freaking furniture companies have there been over the years? How many are there still today? There's a ton of furniture companies, so it takes a long time to kind of get to the top of your industry. So again, if you're one of these people that gets into making things before AI really starts creating a lot of people on the unemployment line, you're gonna be sitting pretty, So at least that's how I see it. Okay. Here's the last thing I wrote about this demand thing. Okay. So I said initially the divide between the rich and the poor will accelerate, right? And I've talked about this many times. As this AI comes through, more of the people invest in AI technology, the companies that have the best AI technology, it's going to create more wealthy people, more than we have right now, right? And the wealthy today, 10% of the wealthy are buying 50% of all the shit in America, right? They're the ones that are propping up the economy. 10% of the American citizen, right? The 10% wealthiest people in our country own 93% of all the stock, right? So who do you think is going to own AI and all these best companies? It's that same 10% of people, So initially the divide between the rich and the poor will accelerate, but as more and more products become unaffordable, right? As more and more people lose their jobs to AI, less and less people are going to be able to buy shit, right? So you see what's kind of coming down the pipeline, right? AI is going to be great for the people that invested in it and have the business, but eventually so many people are going to lose their jobs that there's going to be nobody to buy anything, right? And this is what AI developers and legislators and people in government are already thinking about. People see the writing on the wall, and this might be 10 years down the road, could be 50 years down the road, but it's coming, right? And it's coming not just because of AI. It's coming because AI is going to develop the robot, right? And how many companies are working on the robot? Boston Dynamics is working on one. Tesla's working on one, the Optimus robot. These things are one and the same. I consider them to be one and the same. Like we already know about the driverless cars. I think Uber said most of their cars are going to be driverless in the next 2 years. I'm sure it's going to be the same for Lyft. I'm sure it's going to be the same for all these Instacart delivery companies. They're all going to use autonomous vehicles, and that stuff's coming. That's like 2 or 3 years down the road. What are all the people that are doing those jobs currently going to do, right? What's all the first generation immigrants going to do? I mean, every time you get a fucking Uber, it's always some immigrant, right? Like, what are these people going to do? And the truth is I don't know. And I don't think anybody knows except be unemployed, right? Except be potentially destitute. These people could potentially turn into criminals, right? You get desperate enough. I mean, anybody would go rob anybody, I think, if you got desperate enough, So it's very scary what's coming down the pipeline. But continuing here, so your products become unaffordable for more consumers. Businesses will start to lose money, and let's see, read my handwriting here. We'll start to lose money, and the trend will reverse, right? And the people who learn to make stuff will be positioned to win. Okay, I'm going to read this all one last time in one continuous statement since I read it kind of in pieces. Okay, initially, the divide between the rich and the poor will accelerate as more and more products become unaffordable for consumers. Businesses will start to lose money as this trend will reverse, and the people who learn to make stuff will be positioned to win. Okay, so we kind of talked about where all of this is going. Okay, and where all this is going is that a significant amount of people are going to lose their jobs as AI and robots come through, right? If you don't work with your hands, like you're screwed, is really what it boils down to. So as these companies start to, again, their profits are going to go through the roof, right? If you're a shareholder of some of these companies, your dividends are going to go through, your stock price is going to go through the roof, right? But as more and more people start to lose their jobs, and again, it's just going to be the have-nots that are going to lose their jobs at the beginning, but eventually it's going to creep into the haves, right? Eventually these people aren't going to be able to keep up. And as that happens, the companies that have all the AI that are making all this stuff, they're going to run out of customers. And when that happens, it all goes kaput, right? Because we saw this before, okay? And this is one of the things that you guys should do some research on. One of the things that happened before is there was a time when John Rockefeller, right, the guy that founded Standard Oil, he was told that his wealth was going to be so great in about 10 years that he would own everything. He would own everything. And to most of us, that sounds fantastic, right? But what his accountants and people were telling him is like, if you continue at the rate you're going of accumulating wealth, you're not going to have anyone to buy any oil. No one's going to be able to buy oil. No one's going to buy your kerosene. No one's going to buy your gasoline. No one's going to buy any of the fuels or lubricants that your company is producing, and you're going to be worth nothing. You're going to have nothing, and that happened to Rockefeller. That also happened to Andrew Carnegie, right? Andrew Carnegie founded U.S. Steel, and great story. I mean, you guys want to go read a fantastic story, go read about Andrew Carnegie. Like, what a freaking story. But same thing happened to that guy. He ended up selling his company to oh God, who's the banker? Chase. Morgan, JP Morgan, right? Ended up selling his company to JP Morgan. It was the first billion-dollar company, right? Back in the turn of the century. So anyway, point is that these guys were told that if they did not help out the average citizen, that they were going to go broke because no one would be able to buy their stuff. So they would have all this wealth one day, and then it would be worth nothing the next, okay? So what they did is, we all know that Rockefeller gave away most of his fortune, right? His fortune has lasted several generations, and it's all philanthropy. They're all given away to educate people because they understood that if they did not educate people and teach people how to do new things and teach people to be creative and to want to be innovative, that society would grind to a halt, right? Same thing with Carnegie. Carnegie donated most of his wealth, and everybody, I think, at this point has a Carnegie library, right? There's Carnegie Hall in New York. Carnegie did so much to the arts and to education to foster the creativity and innovation for the next industries, right? So the end game for all this is that these companies, and I don't know that it will be the companies that are leading it today. Companies like OpenAI, companies like X, companies like NVIDIA, all these companies, if they don't start donating some of this money into a new innovation for the normal people, all these companies are going to go broke. And nobody is going to adopt this technology because no one will be able to afford it. No one's going to have any money. And maybe what they'll end up doing is they'll just put together a fund because they're so wealthy, and everyone will live on a form of UBI, and I don't know if it's that simple, but that's death, guys. I'm here to tell you that UBI is death. We saw that in COVID, and during COVID, I never saw so many worthless, fucking lazy people in my life. People that just, I've said it many times, money that is not earned is never respected. I never saw so many people just waste money, waste their time. They had nothing to do. They had no ambition, no nothing. And that's what UBI does to people. And so they have to come up with a way to inspire the next generation of people to create industries and create products that drive the next batch of kids to go do things, right? The next batch of people to get excited about stuff, whether that's space travel, in my case, woodworking, it could be, building houses, it could be doing art, it could be, coding, it could be whatever. But if these companies don't get off of this AI bandwagon, and like AI, it's like the, you can't get out of your head. Everywhere you go, AI, we're using AI. It's getting like really annoying, to be quite honest with you. I don't know what it is, but everything is AI now. It's just it's really crazy, So if these companies don't figure out how to inspire the next couple of generations of people, like, it's all going to go bad, guys. And if you don't learn to work with these and learn to make things, repair things, and cater to this wealthy class of people, it's going to be very difficult for you to make a life for yourself on a regular salary. And I've said many times at this point that you can, if you're really good at what you do, you can work a regular 9-to-5 job and make a decent living. But you gotta be good. And the truth is that most people aren't that great at what they do, and it's no shade against them. Truth is that most people just aren't that interested in being the best of the best. They just want to go to work, do a normal job, do a good job. Maybe raise some kids, play some video games. Take their spouse out, whatever. People aren't all interested in being the best. But today, you guys have all seen it. you have to be the best at what you do in order to make it today. If you want to make 100, 150 grand a year, you got to be really good at what you do. Otherwise, they'll just replace you. The other thing that you can do is what I'm always telling everyone on the stream is you can start a business. And again, you can start a business in your garage. You can start a business in your living room. It's not the easiest thing in the world to do, but a lot of people have more spare time than they realize, and it can be done. And again, I'm one of these people. I failed 3 times. I had to move all over the country as an aerospace cabinet maker. But I was always trying to start businesses along the way and learning new skills and looking for those opportunities to strike it out on my own. And it wasn't until I moved to St. Louis, Missouri, that I was finally able to do that when I met my wife, who had the marketing and the sales to go with my operations and fabricating abilities, and we were able to make this thing work. And a lot of people out there, I think that it's really difficult or even impossible, but you can do it. But you got to be good at something. And if it's something that can be done on a computer or something that is in the whatever video production, these kind of things, you're in trouble. So be very careful about what you choose to spend your time learning and what you choose to spend your time thinking about doing with your life. Because if you choose the wrong thing, again, AI is going to eat your lunch. The robots are going to come in and eat your lunch. And things like Uber, you're not going to be able to drive Uber for extra money anymore. Like those jobs are going to be gone, right? Coding, gone. Accountants, gone. Like these jobs that used to kind of help fill the gap for a lot of people, they're all going to be gone. Pizza delivery jobs of any kind, they're all going to be gone. They're all going to be automated. Autonomous vehicles are coming in the next year or two. So if you want to win, gotta learn to make something. Gotta learn to fix things and work with these, right? I've said it many times before, like if you're a younger person, like get into a business early. Go find a woodworking business, go find a metal company, go find an HVAC company. As a young person, get into that business, right? Say, hey, I'm still in high school. I want to do this job. This stuff's kind of interesting. I thought about the college thing. College isn't going to work. I don't think there's a lot of money to be made there. And what am I going to do to come work here? Most businesses want young people. We all want young people, right? We want to give these people the opportunity to learn to do things and teach people to do things that worked for us as older, journeyman people, master people, whatever the frickin' titles are. We want to teach people how to do things because we spent a lifetime doing this stuff, and it's more valuable now than it's ever been. So if you're a young person, get into these businesses young. Just walk in right off the street. Like, don't ask for an interview. Don't ask to call. Just show up, guys. And it sounds crazy, but some of the best people I've ever hired just walked in. My furniture maker that works for me right now, his wife followed me on Instagram, or I should say followed my wife on Instagram, and she just drug his ass in here one day and said, hey, you need to give my husband a job. He's a good carpenter. And showed me some pictures of what he did. I looked at the stuff, and I told him, hey, I'll pay you $10 an hour for a week or two, right? You say you can do what you can do, like, well, we'll give you a raise. I'll pay you $15 an hour. And that's what he did. And he's been working for me ever since. That was maybe 5-6 years ago, long time ago. And now the guy makes whatever, $32 an hour. So these jobs come in, or these companies come in really. I'm trying. How do I word this? There's hundreds of these jobs in your local area. People looking for young people to help out, people that want to learn to kind of do things. And all you got to do is show up, guys. I promise you, if you show up to a business and you just say, especially as a young person, right? You old people, you're a different story. I got a whole different strategy for you guys. But if you're a young person, go in there and work for $10 an hour, right? And again, you can live at home. You don't need to have an apartment. You don't need to have big fat car payments. You just need to go learn something. Go learn a trade. Go work for a company. Show people that you can show up on time. Show people that you want to learn. Show people that you're interested. Show people that are not afraid to get in and get dirty. Those kind of things go a long way as a young person. Now, as an older person, the rules are very different for older people because old people have a lot of bad habits. They've got a lot of expectations that young people don't have. So being an older person is a lot trickier. The other thing about older people is they need to make a lot of money because they've got debts. They've got kids, they've got spouses, they've got cars, they've got all kinds of things that they're used to being able to pay for. And again, if you're going to come in and learn a new trade, a new skill with a new company, you're not going to make any money. It's going to take you 3, 4, 5 years to make any decent money, and that's how it is. So as an older person, you may have to look at moving home, right? You may have to look at selling your car. Maybe you got to trade in your 401k and put that money into your bank account so you can afford to go learn, to do a $10, $12, $15 an hour job to learn a skill that you can then do for the rest of your life. So it's much trickier as an older person. And again, as an older person, we have a lot more reservations about you as a person and where you're coming from and the things that you've learned. And it's again, no shade against you. It's just the reality of life. And it's just kind of how it goes, So anyway, I think that's the bulk of my talk for the day. Let me go through my notes here real quick, see if I wrote down anything else I want to talk about. And we'll kind of call that a thing. So I see. So I wrote down, when AI makes everything, what good are humans? That's one of the things that's really scary to me, is that if AI comes through and just starts making everything, what good are we? It's like, what are we supposed to do? I mean, a human's job, at least I think, we're all here to serve other people. That's how I kind of look at it. If you're just one of these people that just serves yourself all the time, you're a fucking piece of shit. I mean, you might as well just go. I mean, society has no need for you, right? Your job is to go provide a service for somebody else. Your job is to go make something for somebody else. And your job is to go educate other people. That's how a society works. And if we get a bunch of people that don't know what to do, don't have any inspiration, don't want to do anything, I think we're done as a society, So hopefully that doesn't happen. Let's see. And I wrote down, are AI stocks creating an everything bubble? And this is something. We can save this for another discussion. I don't think I want to talk about this necessarily, but if you guys haven't noticed, the stock market is through the roof. And again, everyone's talking about a thing all the time, this AI thing, which makes no money. Makes no money. There's no cash flow in any of these businesses. They bring in, I think I read somewhere that OpenAI brings in like $15 billion a year, but it's spending like 80. So they're not making any money. And we don't know if they will be able to make any money. So these stock prices, though, for all these companies keep going up, right? They're like, well, this company's going to do a deal with this company, and then the stock price goes up, and then this company's going to do a deal with that company, and then the stock price goes up. And these people are just minting money left and right with all the stock that they own, but they don't make any money. It's all based on an idea and a hope that this technology is going to revolutionize everything, So I don't know. It's just literally profit at the stock market. It's making everybody look rich, and I don't know how rich people really are. Cash is king, and I don't know how much cash any of these people have. So anyway, let's go to my last comment here, and then we'll call it a day. Let's see. Dan Dana says, "See, I like your mindset. You have problems with some multidisciplinary artist, director. So thing I need to find something that keeps me alive. Let's see, I do have a problem because I'm a multidisciplinary artist." I'm kind of curious what that even means. You may have to come into another stream and let me know, because I don't know how many people are in the stream at this point. I'm curious what that even means. A multidisciplinary artist director. Yeah, I can't even wrap my head around that. Exactly what that means. So see, the thing I need to find something that keeps me alive. Yeah, that's interesting. So yeah, if you're in another stream, watch another stream and tell me exactly what that means. Multidisciplinary artist director. So I spent a lot of time in Georgia, where we have SCAD, the Savannah College of Art and Design, which is pretty cool. So we got a lot of interesting people out there. I've been in a couple of movies, so I kind of understand the movie industry a little bit, but I don't know exactly what you're saying there. So anyway, I think that's my talk for the day, guys. Got a lot of cool things, a lot of cool projects going on in the shop. I got one of these Henry-Don replica desks. Henry-Don isn't in business anymore, so I make the desks, right, which is pretty cool. Again, nobody wants to make these big, massive three-piece desks, but I like making them, and they're beautiful when they're high gloss lacquer coated. People love them. They're a fantastic piece of furniture. So anyway, I've got a lot of really cool things, a lot of big tables, a lot of big crotch mahogany furniture coming down the pipeline. Should have some of that to show you guys this week. I'll probably try to do it What's the Shop on Friday, because I got so much cool shit in the shop right now. But anyway, everyone have a fantastic day, and we'll do this again probably tomorrow.